episode 76. I am your co-host, Pisky. I am joined, as always, by the one and only Godfather, and we have our first video guest today, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mike. This is Maybach. He is the Circa Million's Quarter Contest King. 150 grand US cash in his pocket, and he's going to talk to us about this crazy experience. Mike, thank you very much for doing this, my man. We've been TikTok buddies for a couple years now, and it's great to meet you virtually here on the Always Betting podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Like you said, we've gone back and forth there on social media platforms for a couple of years. And I'm super excited to be on. Super excited to be the winner of the quarterly contest too.
Yes, man.
Never mind this shit. That's real.
Exactly. Never mind this shit at all.
Yeah.
First off, congratulations on that, because
thank you.
This is something that I've been participating in for a couple of years now. I've gotten nowhere near that. Actually, that's not true. I almost made the money last year doing my stupid Circa Million signs all over to Las Vegas. And it went even a step crazier this year with this bingo machine that the Godfather loves very much. So let's get this ball started. We got you guys for an hour. We got Mike here for an hour. So why don't we start off, Mike, by telling us a little bit about your sports betting background and where you're from and how you got into sports betting and this contest.
Yeah, so I'm from Ontario, from the GTA. Grew up in Mississauga. Ended up meeting a girl out on the east side of town in Durham region. So now that's where we call home.
Okay.
And for sports betting, man, we've probably been betting pro line since high school days. So I think we're around the same age, Pisk. I think we're both 83s. So
yep.
Call it like 23 years of playing pro lines and stuff when you're not supposed to be doing that. But and then so I ended up going out west for 6 years, and when I got back, I kind of got back into it and back into some of the local contests. And I'd say, probably about 2020 is when fall 2019 and 2020 is when the light clicked. I mentioned it. If you follow my Twitter, I sent Adam Chernoff a message because I found his podcast and started listening to the Simple Handicap. And that really clicked in with me about the things he did. And I've been working with my buddy Royal for 5 years on contest teams, and he's a brilliant sports picker and stuff like that. So me and him he's drilled a system into me, and I've kind of just he built the foundation, and I've kind of started to build the house around it now. So
nice, man. Nice. Awesome. So how does it feel sitting face to face with the guy that made the odds for Proline for all those years you were paying for it, right? A little bit me, but more this guy over here. I don't know which way with this stupid mirror going on.
The Circa money's going to make up for all those days, Mr. Godfather. So
for all those events I pulled off, I know. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah. So lots of years in the OLG pools. Lots of stuff like that. So
nice.
Yeah.
Fuck. So basically, we can totally change this episode and just talk about picking on the OLG. How about that, Godfather? What do you think?
Come on, let's not. No, come on. Let's not start there. But you know what? Now that you brought up the pro line pools, did you have the same level of prowess there than you have with this Circa pool? Holy shit!
I've had minimal success with the OLG pools. Like there's been winners. We probably haven't cracked one in a little bit. Mm-hmm. And we'll really keep it on camera here because of the episode. But I've messaged Pisky a couple times about what I think is going on in the marketplace there.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything. Don't worry.
Yeah. So I think there's something. Up there, but I'm going to keep that one tucked tight to my sleeve.
Good.
Because
There's a few guys that I think follow this podcast as well. Shout out to them. I'm not mentioning any names, but that do very well on the pools. They have a very good system.
Yeah.
What I can understand, and I know this is going off track a little bit because we are here to talk about we are here to talk about the Circa contest, but I cannot believe the Lottery Corporation still limits players. Okay, that's a sensitive word these days if you've been following me on Twitter and TikTok, but still limits the amount you can play in a store on pools, which is no risk whatsoever to the Lottery Corporation. It is a par mutual that they just collect profit on. Godfather, fucking make a call or something. Smarten these people out. Jesus Christ.
I'm retired.
Nice, man. Okay, so yeah, you're here in Ontario as well. You're exposed to all these beautiful, or slash, depending on who you sign up with, slash shitty sports books here in Ontario. Did you? I used to live at Taunton and Brock Road, so you're up in that area, I think, right? You said east, like Whitby area.
Yeah, well, I'm in Whitby, so yeah.
Okay, nice.
I'm not very far from you at all, so.
Okay, yeah. That's when I made the move from Quebec to Ontario. I lived at Taunton and Brock Road for a calendar year.
Wow.
To commute into the city. Yeah, so that's, I'm sure, not too far from you.
No, not at all.
Okay, so let's go into the Circa contest. You won a quarter. That is amazing. That is 150 grand US. So you said this isn't your first year signing up to it, Mike?
No, it is my first year. So
it is your first year. Okay.
Yeah. So I've known about the contest since about 2020. Like I found it. I just didn't feel like I was ready to spend that kind of money. Like I just didn't feel like I was getting the value of where my picking was in playing in contests. So the guys that I play contests with, we've had some success locally. And I really thought now, okay, we've had some success. Now I could take it a step like a level up and really go after this. And I think I've got a system that can kind of keep me my head above water in these things, because like I said, it's a big boy contest. There is sharp guys in that contest. So you got to be on your ball for all 18 weeks. So
100%. Just to let everyone know, it is $1,000 US to sign up to this bad boy. So yeah, like Mike said, there's no joking around here. You actually, unless you want to be a dork about it like myself and use a stupid bingo machine, like there is that way, I guess. I just it doesn't matter why I did it, but we'll get into that a bit later. So when did you go down to Vegas? Because obviously you're here in Ontario, Mike. So you need, I assume, a proxy service.
Yep. So the proxy service I use is Winner's Circle.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them. I did some research on the proxies. I think there's about 4 or 5 of them. I think I contacted 4. Winner's Circle has a portal. It's set up like the guys were very professional. I just like the vibe. So yeah, I went with them and so I went to. Well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I booked the trip in because I was in Circa last week 18 last year. So so the planning kind of started then. The planning really started in March, but I booked the trip for August. My wife and I, our anniversary is in August, so we booked a trip for
salute.
Yeah, so we did 5 days and signed up for the contest. Did some, Grand Canyon and Colorado River, and did some other stuff other than sportsbook kind of stuff. So
nice.
That's when. So I was down August 2023 is when I went down and I signed up for the super contest and then 2 teams in Circa.
Nice. So you must have just missed Bet Bash then. Did you consider going to that at all?
Yeah, but it was like my anniversary trip or Bet Bash.
Oh, okay.
I probably wouldn't have been a good anniversary trip with going.
No, it wouldn't have. No, I can assure you that you would have gotten in a lot of trouble. But yeah, listen, it's Familia first all the time. The Godfather had to miss as well this year. And but I do recommend it for all you sports bettors out there or anyone that wants to take their game to the next level. The amount of connections and shit that you make at Bet Bash, and you have the ability to sign up to all these contests too. It's incredible. Okay, so you went down to Vegas. You signed up to the contest. Did the proxy service meet you at Circa? I think they have to, right?
Yeah. So we started off at Westgate, and they were so nice. Like so as you know, you go in there, you put your ID down, and they put their IDs down, and you get your bill ticket and everything. And then I said, "Oh, I'm going to take an Uber over," and she goes, "Well, I'm going to the girl that I signed up with. I'm going over to Circa. Do you want to hop in a ride?" So she actually gave us a ride to
Nice.
my wife and I ride to over to Circa.
Beautiful. So you're in the Superbook one as well?
Yeah. So I actually hit.
Okay.
I made a little bit more money because I tied for the 7 to 9 week contest as well, and split another 44 between. So 40 grand.
Come on.
Yeah. So I've had a good little run here.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Fuego, my man.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Very
Okay.
impressive.
So I had a bad week last week and dropped down. So I'm probably out of the 7 to 12 week now. I got an outside shot and probably out of the what is it, 10 to 13, because they do.
Yeah.
Sportsbook does it in threes, and then Circa does it in quarters. So.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about that. So you won the Circa Quarter Prize, which Mike, you know it better than I do because you corrected me on social media a couple of times. I think it's week 1 to 4, so that was 4 weeks out of the gate. Then we had a 5-week period, which is the one that you took down. Now are we back on 4 weeks?
Yeah, 4 weeks, and then we finish on 5.
And then we finish on 5. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. So Circa has these monster prizes that, another reason why I, decided to do the bingo thing is because if you finish in the basement of one of these quarters, there's a prize for that as well, right?
I believe so. I believe there's a booby prize for the bottom of 2. Yeah.
Yeah, the booby prize, and I think it's significant. It might be 25K or something like that. So I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can win in this contest. It just doesn't have to be King of the Mountain at the end of the season. So that's the benefit of signing up for sure. Why don't we talk a little bit, Mike, about your contest strategy? So now, the Godfather and I, we're not handicappers.
Okay.
We don't even like to call ourselves pro. We're recreational sports bettors, right, Godfather?
Correct.
So I don't know why places in Ontario keep fucking around with us, because we identify as recreational bettors, and that's that. These days you can't be told if I identify as a recreational, you have to treat me as that. That's the way the world works these days. So listen up, sportsbooks. Yeah. So tell us, without giving too much away. Obviously, we don't want to nitpick at your strategy, because strategies are very important, and sometimes you gotta, hush hush, wink wink, nudge nudge. But are you a handicapper? Do you pay attention to line movement during the week? Like, how do you kind of do your picks on a weekly basis?
Yeah, so I'm a very strategic handicapper. I don't play in other markets. NFL spread lines is 90% of my bets through the week. I'll sprinkle in some money lines if I see value, and of course, because I'm digging into the games, if I like a total, I'll do that in a props. Like so there's a little bit a little bit of that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I've looked at the handicapping like a stock market. I look at the opens. I look at where's the line moving. I also playing in
No, go ahead. Sorry, I keep trying to jump in here. I'm an asshole. So maybe
it's all good.
100%.
So I play in a local contest too that releases the lines on Tuesday, and Superbook releases the lines on Wednesday, and Circa releases lines on Thursday. So there's a lot of movement. So I'm not just looking at 5 games or 6 games. Like, I got to look at the whole board, because some games, especially this week, there's been 3-point moves on some markets. So
yeah, with all these injuries,
and the injuries and the misleading of the media on these injuries is a big one right now too. So I am strictly, I bet in 2 markets. One of them I'm not doing right now is golf. So I'll go into golf in February, and those are golf outrights. I'll pick that back up once football season's done. And
matchups head to head in the golf.
A little bit more outrights.
Outrights.
So,
Okay, gotcha. Sorry,
yeah,
you just said
so,
that. I wasn't paying
yes,
attention.
it's okay. So I'm just betting golf outrights and betting spread lines. So
Okay,
Interesting.
nice.
yeah.
So you're deep diving. You're basically going bottom up, right? Injuries, maybe some coaching changes, some in and out of lineup type of stuff.
Yeah, so
Weather.
so over the last 5 years, as I talked about earlier, I've written down everything. So if I've lost because of something, it's been noted, and I've realized, and I mean, it could come down to stadium turf, it could come down to coaching matchups, it could come down
Oh,
to
wow.
travel schedule, it could come down to there's a ton of stuff that I dig into. I really am big into scheme this year. So offense versus defensive schemes. How does the quarterback play against this kind of system? Is the running back is the tight end? Like, it's 3 levels of it. So there's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive, man, because honestly, I've been in this game a long time, and there's not too many people I know personally that do it your way, like bottom up style, right? That's a lot of work, and that you got to take into a lot of different factors. Guys like me and a lot of people I associate with are more bottom down kind of guy, or sorry, top down kind of guys, right? So you're kind of looking at the sharp books, Circa, Pinnacle, Chris, and you're kind of sniffing around to see, like, hey, who is wildly off the base, right? And you kind of make some bets there, and then, like, I even dummy it down even more. Everyone knows by now I'm a big arbitrage guy, a big middling guy, so that's pure top down, right? I'm not looking at coaching decision, and I'm not watching games. I'm not doing any of that shit. I don't know if that's just a sign of I've been in the game too long and I'm lazy. What are you nodding your head at there, Senor Godfather? You call me lazy?
What? You called yourself an asshole, and you're going to talk to me about me nodding my head? We have nothing to debate. The guy won a quarter.
He did. He did, and he's doing it. He's doing it in a very difficult way. That is not easy. Looking at that kind of shit. So I tip my hat to you, my man.
I'm surprised to hear your strategy.
So the main strategy, and you want to talk about the top down strategy, I'm trying to avoid the landmines every week. So like trying to avoid games that could just get you right in a lot of trouble. So I'm
okay. So what's a landmine? Tell us what a landmine is in your perception.
In my perception, a landmine is you're going against the grain, and it's a real not good decision to go against the grain. Last week, New York Giants was a landmine. So a lot of people were on it, and if they would have hit it, it has a very low shot. But if you like I'm playing a lot of the percentages too during the weeks, but I'm also trying to find where the landmines are, and I avoid them and kind of skate through. So that's what I call avoiding the landmines.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. No. That I can see that, because I feel like what you're describing as a landmine. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong. I might be wrong. I probably am wrong. Is that the one that basically gets, because Circa always puts out like who's on. Who the most participants on each individual pick, right? So a lot of times I feel like that there's a lot of quote unquote sharps out there that kind of gang up on the same game. Would that be considered like a landmine, or is that just
Yeah, yes and no. It all depends on the week. Like there's a lot that could happen, and with the content coming out so frequently now, like you can listen to a lot of podcasts and you could see it in the picks. Like if you listen to this podcast, because my one of the guys I bet with, Herdsy, he listens to one podcast and I listen to the other. So when he goes through some of the picks and then we see him after, it's like, okay, this totally makes sense. But I don't try and let the podcast influence me on who I'm going to pick.
Good.
But I do take some of these guys pretty weighted. Like you got Sheernoff and a Pain Insider, very, very high metrically guys. Like and then I do a lot of data analytics too. So I can get to the same spot as them. It doesn't always mean I pick the same spot, but I can understand the side
and the process.
Gotcha.
Okay. Nice,
So, yeah.
nice. And yeah, Adam Chernoff's been on this podcast with us. He came on one time.
Oh, wow.
He's a good
Do
guy.
you remember? Yeah. He's a friend of the familia, and I
Oh, wow.
had some drinks with him at Bet Bash and stuff like that. So shout out to Adam. I actually was meant to have a nice little steak dinner with him when I was out in Calgary, but the stars didn't align. I was only there for a short time, so it didn't work out. But
I hope to cross paths with him one day.
yeah, you know what? He's a good dude. He's a good dude. So first of all, I had a question about when you submit your picks. So I have to submit mine Fridays. I think it's before like 10 p.m. Eastern or something like that. For me, it's completely random, again, in that silly bingo machine.
Mm-hmm.
But for you and your
Proxy.
yes, your proxy, what day do you have to submit them by?
So that was one of the biggest things I decided too, because there was Friday, there's Thursday, there's Saturday. So Winner's Circle allows me to bet to the last minute. So it's I'm up to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
So
Saturday.
On Saturday. So in my schedule, in my life schedule from 1 to 3 on Saturdays, that is my time to, like, there's nothing else that goes on in my life.
Don't fucking text me. Don't fucking call me. You're not getting a response.
Yeah. Boom. Like that's when I talk to my secondary team partner Hernsey. That's when I usually go through the games because I do a lot on Word, like top down, bottom down strategy. It's all typed out. It's all typed out, so I can go back through the week and see what I'm into. Yeah, so
that's very interesting. Now, are you just putting them into contests, or are you playing them straight at some of these sports books out here in Ontario?
Yeah, so I have a couple accounts at sports books, and I've got my you're probably one of your favorites, BetMGM, because I like the rewards points, because that's where I usually stay at, and then I got a couple other ones where that's where the straight bets get made. So
beautiful.
I'm trying not to get flagged. So,
but you know what? You're playing one of the most efficient markets in sports betting, which is the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So you can grind out a profit with them in NFL as long as you're not picking on their props and shit like that, like the fucking Godfather does all the time. You should be fine. Pre-game NFL, full game, you should be fine to carve out a little bit of a profit there. If you can beat that, if you could, that is a fucking significant market to beat. If you're beating NFL pregame, that is phenomenal. You mentioned that you like to stay with MGM because of the reward points and stuff. Make sure you tier match. I don't know if you've ever heard about that.
Yep.
You have?
Yep.
Someone passed that on to me last season when I was in Vegas, and I got to Diamond Plus at Caesar, so I got my 4 complimentary cocktails daily, so they became my favorite fucking book. But I know you can take that Diamond Plus status and go to MGM, get some free parking there and shit like that. So make sure you're tier matching, everyone watching this or listening to this, if you're playing at one sports book, because it is very handy. You get a lot of perks.
So that's funny, because I found at a point where like the comps, maybe it's because of the data breach or whatever, and we were planning to come in January, and my comp wasn't in, and they asked me for a survey, and I kind of just smashed them on it, and I was like, listen, if you guys don't, like, I've spent some good dough at your resorts, and even when I went to the Detroit Lions game, because I'm a Falcons fan, I stayed at the MGM Detroit while I was there. So I was like, when I'm in the area, I stay at your properties, and the next thing you know is the comps are comp back up. So, but you're right. I said if you guys are not going to treat me right, I'm going to go back over to Caesars. So
what made you an Atlanta Falcons fan?
Michael Vick.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Michael Vick, when he was at Virginia Tech, and then when he got drafted, I didn't have a sports team. I didn't have an NFL team, and I said, I watched every game I could of that guy. So
nice.
So and then when he moved on, I just I'm Leafs fan, Falcons fan. Just keep them.
Whoa! Wait a second. Godfather, how do you control delete this? No, we got to stop this right here. You know what?
He's a guest. Behave.
Hey, this is the way I'm going to say it. I grew up in Mississauga. I went to my first Leaf game at the Garden at 4. That's it. That's my team, and I'm sticking with them through the good and the bad and bad and bad.
Well, there's been a lot of bad. I don't know about the good. You said the G word. I don't know if that exists with the Leafs, but hey, whatever. each in their own, but it is an abusive relationship with their fans, and like I tell all my hockey boys, Mike, there's plenty of room on the Habs wagon if you want to join the Godfather and I on the Habs wagon, or any of the other teams in the NHL, right?
No, I'm this far into the misery that I'm just gonna keep on.
You got to stick with it.
I'm sticking with it because the time you step out of it is the time it's gonna happen.
So of course, 100%.
I've got a quick question for you now that you've mentioned the Atlanta Falcons. I've gotten some pretty spotty returns from Bijan Robinson. So you want to tell me, like, is this guy a keeper or what's the story? I had to spend some serious fucking dough on this guy, and I don't like them. I mean, Tyler Algier takes fucking snaps from him. And what's that other Chicago guy that you tried to fuck me with a couple of times? I forget his name.
Freeman?
No, the other guy. No, Donta Freeman. Please don't bring up that name.
We're hoping
the other guy, the guy that was from the Bears.
Montgomery?
No.
Cordell Patterson?
That's the guy.
Yeah.
They mixed three guys in. I need a workhorse.
He is a
25 carries a game.
Yeah,
but I know fantasy's different now, so if you can even carve out 20, that's pretty good. But
well, you got to understand the specifics of the Atlanta Falcons and who the coach is and who the coach's father is related to the owner, and Arthur Blank and Arthur Smith's father, because Arthur Smith's father was one of the FedEx creators.
Yeah.
So and Arthur Blank is the Home Depot. So these are like big shots in the States. So yeah, there's a connection there, and honestly, it's just not a good coaching. It's probably one of my worst futures of the year was placing a future on Arthur Smith to be coach of the year before this even start. I was like, I thought with all the weapons they had, if they could have like a New York Giants 2022 season, and they started off well. I was like, oh, this is pretty well. But
I try not to chase the hype in the preseason, but the hype on this guy was fucking through the roof.
Well, you see the highlights. He's amazing.
Yeah, and then I'm a very vindictive person. So if I zero in on him, and I just made the decision in our auction draft that this guy is on my team, and you can ask Mr. Piscolito over there. I will bludgeon you with a blunt object if I want that guy. And like I ended up paying $60 for him, a couple of good games, yes. But then he had a migraine one game. Nobody said anything, and I'm watching this guy on the fucking sidelines in that game. Dude, I'm telling you, I was going bananas.
Who the fuck drafts someone in fantasy that has a? You always complain about two-headed monsters in the running back position. You drafted someone with a three-headed monster? That's on you, sir. That's on you. I'm sorry.
It's actually not a bad play because we don't have a quarterback that can really do anything. So you
think
they
true.
start
very
handing
much.
the ball
Thank
off.
you very much.
Anyway,
anything this fucking guy says about fantasy.
I will say this: I'm a huge Atlanta Falcons game. I try and get to every game that I can that's around here. But I've learned in my handicapping that there's absolutely no way I could take a position for them or I could take a position against them. There's no loyalty in that way.
Good. That's the way you're supposed to do it.
Godfather's the same way with the Steelers. Now, tell me, Mike, you said you went to Detroit to watch your Falcons. Did you happen to notice any lions in the stands?
No, not a lion. No, the wrong game. Wrong game. That's great. That's a great Halloween costume, though. Wow.
That was a business trip. That wasn't no fucking around. That was a business trip. That was very serious. That was for very serious people watching this podcast.
Whatever you got to tell the CRA, man. I'm good with.
I hate those letters.
Let me tell you, I have had to reevaluate my definition of the word serious since that trip. I'm just going to put that out there.
All right, let's get the train back on the tracks here. We're here to talk about fucking Circa.
Yes,
so backing it up a little bit, that is very big. What you mentioned, Mike, that you can put in your picks on Saturday. I know the guys doing the actual homework and not pulling them out of a stupid bingo machine like some people on this podcast. I know that's huge. I know you guys get the extra sleep, you get the extra day, you get the extra info. That is absolutely massive. And I know some of the proxy services, you can pay a little bit more to get your picks in later. I know the Full Dog did that. He paid a little bit more so that he could get more time. Yes. I don't know if the guy I use, shout out to Scott and his proxy service, great job. He's doing a great job for me. I don't know if he offers a little bit extra that you can go later, but I know some of them do. So that is something to keep in their mind if people are, thinking about joining the Circa contest next year.
Yeah, so Saturday, tonight after this, guys, I'll probably go have dinner with my family, and then after that, I'll start digging into the injury reports and see what the final is, and then so that right. So it doesn't matter. Like it's going to hit Friday, and then it's going to hit Sunday. So having the Saturday that's where strategy wise, there was a couple weeks where I didn't take any games with major injuries. Like I just didn't know if questionables are in, but now we're getting to a point. I think there was like 130 last week injury, like guys on the injury report. So it's like, there's not even games that you can't know where because the models change as the injuries come in and out, right?
For sure. Well, I think that in itself is a strategy, is not touching the games that have major injuries or a threat of major injuries. I think that in itself, right? You want something clean cut. You want to take out as many unknowns as possible. Well, that to me is a great strategy.
It must have been week 7. I messaged my Circa buddy Hernsey, and I called him on the Thursday, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I really like 5 games, but one of them it was New Orleans versus Jacksonville. But I really like the other 4 games. They don't have any injuries, and I lost on New Orleans, of course, but like I laid the card on Thursday, and it was the first time, but there was just no variance in the back end of it for me."
Oh shit!
So,
okay.
So that was a strategy too.
You mentioned your buddy Hernsey a few times here, Mike. Mm-hmm. How many are you doing this? How many is part of your team?
So we're individuals. Like I got Hernsey and I got my buddy Royal, and so Royal and I play in the local contest, and Hernsey and I play in Circa Maybach 2. We're actually gonna change up our strategy. So Hernsey and I always played individual teams, and we would talk during the weeks, and he would make his picks, and then I would make my picks. Well, this year we decided to start making our own, and it's just been a fucking disaster. Like it's just 2 guys that look at the games differently. So now when we go into the card, he'll go, "I like this game," and I'll be like, "I don't know about that one." And he'll be like, "I like this game," and I won't like that one. So now we were like kind of just picking the bottom of the games. Like we'd like 2 or 3, and then 2 other games were kind of just so starting this week, he's going to take over Maybach 2. We're going to go back to our old strategies that got us up in the local contest pretty high, and then we're going to try and we're about I think 4 or 5 points behind my other team. That my Maybach one's higher in the contest, so we're going to try and sneak in the back door and get some cash there too. So
beautiful. Yeah. I think this is an individual thing because Godfather, could you imagine if you and I had you're not even going to let me finish, are you?
No. How could you and I do anything together? I don't even know how to do this podcast together.
But on the flip side of the coin, my other betting guy, Royal, I've been friends, like we've been childhood friends since we were like 3 years old. So like me and him have very similar betting strategies. So and he taught me he really taught me in 2020 how to like pick the games, and we have a strategy to not like get too loose. And so for him and I, we we'll talk for an hour on like a Friday or Saturday night, and we'll be dialed in for the local contest.
Nice. Quick question, Mike. I mean, taking down a quarter is super impressive, especially the way you're doing it. I mean, you're actually trying to handicap your way. I mean, there are people maybe not even on this podcast that spin a bingo machine and shit like that, right?
I love it. I love the bingo machine.
But don't encourage him, please.
I fucking love it.
So, I mean, how are you? What's your positioning like on the yearly prize? Because
Yeah, so
that's even more serious cash.
Yeah, so I'll get into something here because I'll give you guys a question because I've asked this question myself and it's a good one. So right now I'm at about 200th. I was 66th place after the quarterly. I got drilled last week with a 1 and 4 because, of course, I've never won that much money. I just like the week.
Had too much booze.
No, I didn't even have that. It's just the week came and just the emotions and telling your buddies and
you know, you get a pass for that.
Yeah, but I could have really used a 4 and 1. That would have got me into the top 10. So I'm in 200th in Circa. I'm 6 or 7 back. So there's still a lot. The 8 weeks, still a lot of seasons because you know you go 5 and 0, and these guys go 2 and 3. You're jumping back on the charts.
Yeah, that 4 and 1 seems like a really it seems like a sweet spot number because when I was taking a look, I just started looking last week because I was looking for this player, Pisky. I was looking for him in the standings, and I gave up after 10 pages in. Right, so
your thumbs got sore and turned the page.
Yeah, like my mouth broke on my computer. Keep on clicking, but I kind of noticed that you got to be averaging at least. It was I think close to 3.5.
3.55. I've already got it. I've got. So I have an Excel chart. So another thing I've done is I didn't scoreboard watch until I got into the quarter. I didn't know where I sat in the standings. But I did a projection of, and I played in enough contests to know, 63, 64 is going to get you pretty close to where you want to be. Yeah. So nice. You go through the Excel, break it down, and then I put in and I'd see the percentage of where I needed to be versus the percentage of where I was at. So I'm kind of if you want to talk about over expectation, I'm probably 3 or 4% right now to get there should be a little bit of regression on the top guys by the end of it.
Yeah,
if that's
we're rooting for you. Let me tell you that'd be
a real cool day.
And let's please highlight. You mentioned, Mike, that it was 63, 64 is going to get the job. It might get the job done. It's not even a guarantee to get. You know how fucking crazy that is to pick 64% in the NFL. You have all these scans.
That's 70. That's 70%. 64 points. 64
points.
Oh,
60. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. I mean, but even. Yeah. So 65%, I think, is bananas, and you're telling me it's going to take 70%.
Contests usually go off, and I've ran the metrics on my local contest because this is the first year. So I kind of ran the metrics of where the guys were at that were winning it, and kind of blended it together over the years to get a median. And then you want to be at 70, 72.
That's fucking bananas. That is fucking bananas.
So you're running a marathon. You're
oh my god, yeah.
You're at the top. You're running a high speed marathon with these guys. So
for sure.
So,
Wow.
Okay, so take us through. So I'll tell the story from my perspective. Right here, I am. I post my weekly thing on TikTok. It's the bingo machine. It's for entertainment. My thinking of doing this is A, I don't want to put in the time like you're putting in the time.
Yeah.
And B, if heaven forbid I catch lightning in the bottle and this thing gets hot and I can take down a quarter, or heaven forbid the grand prize, oh my god, it would be a fucking life-changing story, front news everywhere. This moron in Toronto takes a bingo machine and makes X amount of money doing this, right? So I took it as a free roll. And if it goes completely to shit, I get the booby prize. A lot of the math guys that are very smart in this realm told me it's probably going to finish 50-50, because of, just the way things work, the way, And that's kind of where it's hovering right now. I think I'm a little bit under 50%. But yeah, I just thought, holy shit, this will be perfect for what I'm trying to do content creation-wise if I could catch lightning in a bottle. So all of a sudden, I get this smart dude at DMM1V that keeps commenting on my picks. And Mike, I think he used to do it last season as well when I was doing the stupid Circa Million signs. You're like, Pisky, you're looking at a 4-1 this week. Pisky, I think this one has a chance, 5-0. Pisky, this one is going to be painful. You're 0-5. And dude, most of the times you are bang on. So it caught my attention. And then we're going into the week 5 of the second quarter of the Circa contest, and you chime in as you always do, and I thank you for that because I like to know where I stand for someone that knows what the hell they're doing. And you tell me, holy shit, Pisk, you know, this might be the biggest gambling, sports betting week of my life.
Yep.
And I read that, and I'm like, fuck. You know, I don't like hearing that because, you know, I tell everyone, know your limit, play within it, be very careful. This is not easy. You know, the sports betting, anyone who fucking tells you sports betting is easy is a fucking liar. Right? Absolutely. So I read that comment and I just stayed quiet on it, but it made me scratch my head. I'm like, fuck, I don't like hearing that this is my biggest week, because in my mind, when I hear something like that, I think someone's chasing losses. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, I go on fucking Twitter. I see Adam Chernoff giving a shout out to @DMM1V as the fucking champion of Circa Quarter, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Mike. That's Mike from Toronto. Yeah. And I'll show you what he tweeted because I pulled it up here. There it is. This is what Adam Chernoff fucking tweeted, and I'm like, 150K, Maybach won. There it is. And so tell us, Mike, what this final Sunday, because you must have known that you were close, because you did. You told me. You said, I'm close. So tell us what the emotions were like on that Sunday, because I'm so curious.
Yeah, so I found out later that Winner's Circle has a leaderboard on there, and I'm new to this, so I don't know every angle, and so they have a leaderboard. So I go into the Sunday. I'm 17-3. I know, and I'm like, it was pretty nerve-wracking Saturday actually. Like I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta get a 5. Like if I get a 5, I'm in. I want it because I just my whole goal for the year was to make enough money because I pull a lot of data, so I want to be able to buy a data system and build a betting lab. Kind of nerdy stuff, right?
No, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So I've got goals and dreams in this racket, but so that's what it is. So I'm like, if I could get 5 and those other guys get 5, I'll still split, a good amount of money. So I go in and then I get through the 4:00 game, and I took Las Vegas because of the new coach, and new coaches are, there's a stat out there, and I'll let people go figure that out on their own. And so I hit at Las Vegas, and then I've got the New York Giants on Monday Night Football versus the LA Chargers. So now I've got a day. I don't know where I sit because I don't know about this leaderboard, but I was on Twitter and there was another guy in Winner's Circle actually put it on. So now I'm watching the ticker that says I got 21 points, but I don't know if it's actually people can catch me. And so now I'm thinking people can catch me, and I'm watching this, and I slammed the computer down halfway through because Zach Wilson gave away the ball about 18 times, and I was just like, enough. So then I woke back up, and and my wife woke back up, and I'm in the kitchen, and I'm like, I think I lost a lot of money. Like, I think the Jets just cost us a lot of money. But not knowing that I'm looking at the ticker and I've already won because the Jets don't even mean anything on there. So I didn't know the ticker was really live and like how proper it was. It's
yeah.
So then the next day comes and it's the Tuesday, and I'm refreshing Circa like every hour. I'm okay, refresh like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock it hits, and then that's when I sent Sharon off the message.
So
tell me something. Who were your 5 picks on that final Sunday of the quarter? So the Jets. So Jesus Cristo, I cannot tell you if 150K.
So
incumbent on them.
So here's the thing. I'm on Saturday, and because of the injury reports, and I'm on Kansas City because Kansas City's playing in Frankfurt. And I'm on Kansas City, but Xavier and Howard's about to come back, and Sharon Armstead is about to come back. And those are 2 key cogs on Miami. So I'm like, am I going to risk 150 grand on a team that, and Miami's got a good shot of winning, against Kansas City, which didn't happen. So I ended up I kept Kansas City on the Super Contest, but I pulled it and I took the hook. I was like, that's a good hook for the Jets. So, yeah, I had the Jets. I had Baltimore, Cincinnati, Las Vegas, Jets, and one other one that hit. I can't remember.
So you went 4-1, or was it
4-1 4-1 in the last week? And the other guys I was tied with went 3-2. And then there was another guy who would have beat me, but he hit the doink on the New Orleans game. He the doink on that didn't cover the spread, so he hit that, and he ended up finishing second. So it's literally coming down to like inches at this point.
And let's bring this back up for a second. Yeah. That's $100,000 difference first to second.
Yeah. So Wales Bet's also on Twitter or X, and because we went. If you go through the thread of us, I was like, hey man, we need a big week, and because we were both up there. I didn't tell him who I was before until after, and then I saw his picks, and he asked me for mine, so I kind of tracked it, and I was like, oh.
So man. you were conversing with some of these guys on Twitter?
Yeah. So I was like,
shit,
because he posts his picks, and I commented at him. I'm like, we need a big week, buddy, and he said who's your. He never asked me for the team name. He just asked me for the picks. So I sent him the picks, and I said, oh, we had a big week, and then he asked me, and I said, I am Maybach. There's a thread there. So
wow, that's fucking crazy. So, like, let's talk some mental health here for a second. Like, you must have been a wreck, like watching these games, and no.
So
you're calm.
I got a couple really key things that I've done in my life that help me keep calm under this. Like. When I was out in Calgary, I was an assistant golf pro. So I played some. I played I worked at a golf club. I played some golf events. So I did some mental training out there in regards, because you really, when you get under pressure, you don't really want to feel like you're you have to hit shots for money. So I did that. I read some good golf books. Like there's a Fearless Golf book by Dr. Gio. Winning by Tim Grover. That's another one about like Michael Jordan's mental strategy and how these guys just continue. Like it's just stuff like that. And then, when I moved back here, I got into sales. So like, I'm pretty mentally tough in that and done some big deals. So the money's not the biggest thing. I also, I'll let your listeners know, like, I didn't do this alone. I went and kind of did it like I had in golf. So I went and got some backing, and I have some financial backing that allowed me to get my bankroll bigger this year from where I was at, because I was just a hobby kind of like I've been profitable over 4 years, and now I went with all my stats. I went with everything, like pretty much a presentation, and I said, the group behind me said, hey, you ever want to get into business? And I said, well, the really only other thing other than sales I'm good at is betting on football games. So I went there. I went there with a presentation. I said, this is what I've done. These are the things I want to do. I want to up my bet size because I've picked out a profitable rate over. And I got funded. So good
for you, man. Good for you. Do they have a piece of the contest?
Yep. They got a little piece of the contest. So
beautiful.
So they get a cut minus my costs, because like these fantasy sites and these data sites, they're not free to buy. So obviously, in some of my hours got paid back, and because I had a meeting last Friday with them, because I called them on the Wednesday. So here's a funny story. So I'm talking to them, and I'm like, hey, I'm doing pretty good in this quarterly contest. This is a pretty big prize. Like, I might have to get a US bank account. And the guy goes to me, when you get some money, you get a US bank account. So then I called him on the Wednesday, and I go, I guess I'm going to need a U.S. bank account now. And he said, he goes, no fucking way. So,
wow. So there you go. You stuck it to him. I love it.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
I stuck it to him. So I've got it. It's a really good system for me. That also helped with not being like, as like a hobby bettor that had a little bit of a bankroll, like to go up and not have any like financial stress. Like I didn't have to pay back this investment. It was go out and earn it and come back to us when you got something.
Yeah.
So and that's a thing, right? I put out a TikTok not too long ago, and I will stand by this TikTok, right? I'm not a sales guy like you, Mike. No. This was my first ever kind of like, I don't even know if you would call it a pitch, but basically I put out there that, I know just because I've been in the industry for so long that, Pinnacle and Chris are two of the toughest sports books to beat on the planet. Mm-hmm. And I told everyone that you should always have a Pinnacle account, a BetChris account, right? Just even to see what kind of odds they're using on different games. And I made the offer, it sounded very similar to what you're doing, that if someone is out there that has a very small bankroll and can beat Pinnacle or Chris, there is a link in my bio on all my socials that you can click through it, and I get to keep an eye on your action. I don't get to see the plays, but I get to see your ROI, basically. So if you can beat one of those two, I want to talk to you. I want to set something up like Mike has here with his group, where I will find you financial backing. Trust me, if you can beat Pinnacle or you can beat Chris, the option is there. I don't care how much you're betting. I want to see that you can do it. And if you can do it, then we can partner and I can find backing for us, because it is a very difficult task to beat one of those two sports books.
Yeah, especially in that the spread market.
100%.
And those guys are razor sharp.
So what happens? What happens now, Mike? What's the process? You took down 150K. The Circa just send it to you in Bitcoin, or how does it work?
I wish.
I wish. Yeah.
I wish they would have sent it to me in Bitcoin at 17,000. That would have been nice. But okay, so the process. So I got a call from the assistant operations director at Circa the next day. Went through all that.
Not Jeff Benson, is it?
No, his assistant.
Okay.
It's on my phone, so I'm not going to grab it or I'll.
That's fine.
So so we called and we're from Canada, so there's obviously the questions were there, and we're going to get taxed 24%, but you get it back through some paperwork.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll get it back on my tax fund or my tax return.
Nice.
You could take the chips in any way you want. You could pay them. You could take the payment in any way you want. You could take it in chips. You could take it in cash, and you could take it in a check, or in any three ways you want to split it up. So because that was one of the questions. I was like, you guys don't pay this out in cash, do you? Because I don't think I'm getting back through the border with that kind of without getting pulled into a room.
Well, the Godfather knows a thing or two about that. When we were driving over the border last year to go to Vegas for the football season, obviously I had to bring some bankroll money with me, and I did cross because they told me that it is not illegal to bring over 10,000, but you have to declare it. So I tried it out for the first time. I'm not going to say the amount; no one needs to know that, but it was quite a ways over the 10K, and the border patrol officer joked around with us like, oh, that's a lot of money for some strippers or something, and then we all chuckled and laughed and thought, oh, okay, this is a piece of cake. Then he slapped a fucking sticker on the windshield of the Betmobile, and he's like, yeah, take a left, you guys are gonna have to go talk to someone. And then they interrogated all three of us, myself, the Godfather, and the Full Dog. We all had to talk and tell our story and exactly what we were doing with the money, and we came out to a hardcore search of the vehicle, and the only stickler, it wasn't the money, it wasn't the time that we were going to spend south of the border. The only stickler was that there was baby clothes in our luggage, because the Full Dog, living in Costa Rica, he always, every time he comes up here, up to the Great White North, he always sends Amazon shit so that he can take it down, because the Amazon doesn't really work down there in Costa Rica. So, yeah, he had a bunch of clothes for his daughter, and the Border Patrol agents freaked out over that. So, anyways, cool little side story. But so it is possible, is what I'm saying. But yes, they will definitely ask you a lot of questions.
So to avoid that, now I've opened two U.S. accounts. So I've got a holding account here now for once I get the funds, and I've also opened a U.S. account so I could take the funds, transfer them over to the States, go to the bank in the States, or just cut a check. So I'm not taking in. Yeah, I'll take the under 10 grand across now, and everything else I'll just cut the check to the sports book and or do that. So yeah, you're right. Border agents, I just where am I going? Keep it nice and simple with those guys.
Yeah, no one wants any trouble. No, Godfather's still sweating from our little experience there at the Windsor border.
So
didn't think I was gonna come home. Let's just say that.
So that's the way they pay you, and so I'll go down and plan to go down on week 18. Obviously, with the investment I have, I don't have any urgency to race down, other than the US dollar crashing. That would suck, because I
don't think you have to worry about that.
I think I talked to my father about that. I was like, should I go down right now? Because I didn't I'm a little strategic about this. I'm like, I don't want to fly down to Vegas. I'm in the middle of a contest. My year has been planned to take down this contest. So I don't want to spend 3 days or 2 days.
You can't mess up your Saturday afternoon 1 to 3.
No, there's more that goes into it than that, Godfather. So
exactly.
Yeah, so not just Saturdays. I'm not just pulling up the Score app or OLG on Saturdays and trying. There's a little bit. There's a little bit that goes.
A little bit more. Well, listen,
just a touch.
Good.
Just a touch.
Yeah,
it's good. It's great to get a return on the hard work. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's just the check is just sitting there at Circa. It's waiting for you to come down and pick it up. Okay.
Well, it's not cut yet. I got to give them. They asked for like a couple days. I said I'll give you at least 7. So like I said, we're going on a buddies trip on week 18.
Okay.
And yeah, so I've actually just messaged the concierge today. I was like, hey, I'm coming to pick up this $150,000 check. I got about 4 to 6 guys. Where do you think I should sit in the sports book? Like I just kind of I got to kind of play them against each other right now and see how it is.
Absolutely. Well, make sure, especially if you're giving them some action, and this goes for anyone that's going down to Circa. Make sure you reach out to Jeffrey Benson on Twitter, because there's been a few people that have reached out to me personally. I don't know why they're asking me these questions, but they're like, which sports book should I go to? And obviously, I've said this on many episodes, I'm never endorsing a sports book that will kick you out. So Circa has, my full endorsement, and I always recommend that they reach out, especially if you're giving them like big action. Well, this one person wanted to wire, I think, $25K. Like, reach out to Jeffrey Benson on Twitter. He will take care of you. And the guy reported back. He told me, Pisky, thank you very much. Jeffrey did take very good care of me when I was down at Circa. So that is a little nugget if you're going to be playing heavy while you're down there in Vegas.
So I'm good.
He's super solid, Mike.
I know. That's a great. So because I never entered the contest before, I actually talked to Jeff Benson. And I didn't know how payment worked, and because I didn't know how much cash to bring or like that stuff before I even went down. Yeah. So yeah, I know he's super solid. I'm going to try and work. I'm going to try and work out a deal so I can get some seats and lay a marker and make sure that we hit the marker and everybody wins. So beautiful.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about Circa?
I like the quarterly. I like how there's because I do a reset in my season. So every 4 weeks, I reset the power rankings. I reset the teams. Take the bad games out because there's teams that just didn't play well. So the season long metrics don't really. I got caught on that last year, like really buying into season long metrics where so I pulled that out. So yeah, Circa just had the quarterly. It's we're playing every 4 weeks, every 5 weeks for another good little paycheck here.
Chunk. Yeah,
it's a good little chunk and just keeps you going.
Yeah. What I meant actually by that question, I meant Circa itself. So what's your favorite part about it? Is it Stadium Swim? Is it the sports book? Is it the Legacy Club? Is it fucking freaky Fremont Street outside Godfather's favorite?
No. Yeah. I think the sports book, like the first time you walk into that sports book and you're a sports guy, like the phone comes out and you're just like you're panning it. And then last year when we did it, we went up to Stadium Swim, which is so cool too.
Yeah. Well, especially now with the addition of the Sports Betting Hall of Fame, like that is just something to see, and that just I find it gives legitimacy to the industry. Like I've been in this industry my entire adult life, as the Godfather here. And Godfather, did you ever think in a million years there would be a sports gambling Hall of Fame where you can go in and read about some of the legends of sports betting? That's fucking nuts.
With the amount of degenerates that are involved, no, of course not.
There's a lot of that. What about you, Godfather? I know you've spent some good amount of time at Circa with us. What's your favorite part?
The sports book, 100%.
No fucking love for the Legacy Club?
Well, Legacy Club is fantastic too, but I mean, we did have a pretty good Super Bowl party at the sports book. So.
Yeah, you had a nice booth there.
Yeah, sports book is a lot of fun.
It's
the Legacy Club
place for me. That's my favorite.
No, it's our home. It's if you're a sports bettor, forget about Caesars, forget about MGM. Like, go check them out. Obviously, it's fun to see all the different sports books. But Circa is the home of sports betting. Honestly. Sure. Honest to God. Really. And then the Legacy Club, for those unaware, is on the 60th floor of the Circa Casino. You go up there, you have a nice cocktail, an old fashioned, maybe a Negroni, and you sit down, you relax, and you overlook the city of Las Vegas. It is beautiful. It is beautiful.
I'm gonna try that. I didn't know that. See, I'm a rookie. I didn't know that.
Oh, Mike, you got to do it. You got to do it. And you got to just send me a tweet or something or a DM and say, I'm telling you, go up there, especially when you get that check. Go up there. There's a bunch of gold bars on the top of it. Like, I think there's $1 million worth of gold. Wow. That they have a display, just a gold bar display. Don't ask me why. It's Vegas, they do crazy shit like that. But man, go up there and have yourself a cocktail when you get that check, and you're gonna feel like you're on top of the world, which you are, because you are the Circa Quarter King, my friend. Yeah. And this is incredible that we get to talk with someone that took down this contest. I can't even imagine, especially if I do it with a fucking big bingo machine, just to shove it into this guy's face. Absolutely. Okay,
before we leave, let's tell the story how I found you guys, because that's a good one.
That was the next thing. I was just checking our roadmap here. Yes, how did you find myself, the Banfield Group, Godfather, whatever?
I think before, because you've changed your name to Pisky Positivo on IG. I think before. Okay, sure. I'll let you deal with that one, Godfather. And so of course, as Pisky knows, like if I'm not looking at football games or being a dad or going to work, those are the three things I do during football season. I get on social media and I start scrolling. So I'm scrolling through IG, and then all I see, because I'm from Ontario and I know OLG ticket slips, I see this condo filled with fucking tickets, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm texting my buddies. I'm like, look at these fucking guys. I can't believe it. Got the whole fucking condo filled with things. So then I'm zooming in. Now I'm zooming in on the tickets, and I'm like, these smart fuckers, they're hitting them for $900. They know not to go to the fucking OLG. So then it all comes back, and you guys, former employees, and I think I mentioned a tweet to you yesterday. You called me the Circa King, and I said, easy there, 7.
That was a touche moment. Moment. I'll shut up.
So Godfather, I said he tweeted something, and I hit him back, and I said, "Easy there, 7." There's still programs not being funded in Ontario from the symphony you put on in 2021.
Godfather is very sensitive about this. He is a loyal fucking employee of the OLG, and he did it for 35 plus years. 37
years.
Until 35 years. So, we got to give credit where credit is due there. The golden parachute out of there and a nice pension. But, that was a very good David versus Goliath story. And, I love sticking it to especially them. Man, oh man. It is a little bit personal on my thing, but we did do something very special there, and as did you, Mike, with this Circa thing. So that's cool, man. And that's crazy that we've been going back and forth on social media, the power of social media, and we kind of met through there and have been going back and forth for like 2 years now. And I know, speaking about like our relationship, I know you were in Vegas. Was it week 18 last season?
Yeah, so we were supposed to meet up week 18, but I think you got caught up in something.
I was sick. Yes, and there was someone else. There was someone else in Vegas at the time, or maybe I had to meet our buddy Matty Ice. Matty Ice, Godfather. Yes, I don't know. There was something else. There was 2 people. I had to meet you guys and all your buddies, and there was another group that was in town. It could have even been Chernoff. I can't remember. Anyways. But, I came down, I was sick, and I couldn't meet you guys, unfortunately, because that would have been cool, and I always like meeting up with like-minded people and shooting the shit, especially when it's at a place like Circa where, there's just an unlimited amount of fun that you can have. So we'll have to do it again.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm only 40 minutes from you, so...
Exactly. So maybe one of these keg nights we'll get together and... we'll have a steak and watch, a primetime game at the keg. That's always a good time. Awesome. And there's also a Liberty Village local as well. That's a Buffalo Bills bar now. Go figure. But we'll figure something out. But all right, I think we're at the finish line here. Any closing question? No, you got another question?
Not.
All right. Okay.
Nope. This podcast is not finishing until I ask these 2 questions.
Okay. Shoot.
On air, I want you to tell me right now, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
what do you really think about that fucking bingo machine? Right now, I want to know.
I love it because I was like, I love the bingo machine. I just love, because I know as a guy that like had to do, like, I'm like, this guy's amazing. He's fucking around with a bingo machine, and I'm here fucking putting in work trying to hit this contest.
Precisely. You're the perfect person to ask this question. It's a fucking travesty.
No, it fits right in, like, for what I know about Pisky, it fits right in his personality.
Oh, it fits in, all right.
So hey, don't try and recreate the wheel out there, or just use the bingo wheel. That's all. That's
honestly, I respect you guys that put in the time and effort and really, fucking everything into it. I just don't have the time for it. And, I think you've been able to figure it out by now. And I know the Godfather knows for sure. I'm a kind of guy that likes to have a good time. And sure, I may know my way around the sports betting bases a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm still a recreational player, but I do like having fun with it.
I've heard.
I do like having fucking fun, okay?
All right.
Cut me some slack. What's your second question?
Second question. Where the hell can I get a good espresso out your way, out in the East End?
Oh, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one. Not enough of my people out there.
We're not in Vaughan here.
No way.
Okay. Godfather. Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to ask. Do me a favor. You get and then get back to this.
Yeah, you're getting mungie cake land out here. It's getting a little. I'm from Mississauga, so it's getting a little bit diverse, but it's still mungie cakes.
Gotcha. All right, I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, good questions. Good fucking questions. Way to finish it off. That was brilliant.
Beautiful.
All right, everybody, we're up. That is an hour. Mike, I want to thank you so much for doing this, my man. The Godfather and I can scream and yell about Ontario sportsbooks weekly, and we do that. But it's nice to have a sharp guy like yourself on here, giving us different ways to think, talking to our listeners, talking to our viewers about that. There's many different ways to skin a cat in this industry, right? Whether it be with a bingo machine, arbitrage middling, or like you fucking doing the heavy lifting and the hard work. So we commend you. Congratulations to you and your guys too for taking down the quarter. Absolutely. We hope you take another one down, and make sure you keep chiming in on those bingo machine picks, because I like to know where I stand before the week starts.
It's as much as it's in my schedule to make the picks, Pisky, it's in my schedule to comment on them too. So don't worry. And thank you guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm really big fans of the Banfield group. You know that. So
pleasure was all ours.
Yeah. So
awesome, man.
Good luck the rest of the season. I'm sure you boys will do okay.
Awesome. I really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for joining us. On behalf of myself, the Godfather, and the Circa Quarter King, Maybach at DMM1V. Give him a follow on Twitter. He's a smart guy. Thank you, and we'll catch y'all next week.
Ada salute.
Always betting. Always